Welcome, everybody. It's Brian and Sid. Sid, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
All right. Yeah, you sound crystal clear. Guys, can you hear us okay? Our voices sound okay? Maybe a little bit hoarse, but do they sound okay? Let's see. If you just give us a quick update in the question box. Yeah, hey, Victoria and Mark. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Steve Johnson. Yeah, we had an issue. Well, it's a funny story. I don't want to tell anybody, but it's a funny story. Sid can tell you later. Let's see. So, guys, today, if you are new to automotive strategies, i.e. you signed up yesterday with Jack Mize, then hang up from this call and do not listen to this. So we want you to go through the course from the beginning. I know most of the people I see here have been members for a while, so this is just another step. But if you just joined yesterday, this is not an appropriate starting point, and I would advise you to go and do something else right now and maybe listen to call 1, and we're going to post some new calls for you as well. For everybody else on the call, Sid and I are going to post some new live dates if you want to go through it again live with us, and we will do that. And what else, Sid? What else is going on Friday morning?
Nothing, man. Just getting up and running. Excited to finally go over this. I know I've had tons of people asking me about social and working with social. So, yeah, I'm ready. I know this will answer a lot of questions and get a lot of people excited. And some people that weren't doing social media will be able to add that to their package now. So this is good.
Yep. Yeah, you guys. So let me introduce. So today, rather than Sid and I present, we decided that we needed to bring somebody smarter than us, and we wanted to get somebody to help talk about social media. But I know that from the feedback to Sid's poll and a lot of the comments we have, nobody really wants to do the social media themselves. So I actually have two companies that I work with. One that I really feel good about, and I called. One of the founders. Her name is Shelby Larson. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. And I asked her if she could do basically an educational call and kind of share the strategies and concepts behind social media as it affects, ranking and buzz and viral stuff and everything tied to automotive post-Penguin and post-Panda. And Shelby does Google+, Twitter, and Facebook posting. Her company, she's based out of Minnesota here in the U.S., and she does this for me. And I thought it would be an interesting share if you guys could learn from what Shelby does and how her operation works. And, you feel free to grill her and ask her questions. But, Shelby, are you there?
I am here. I just had myself muted, so I didn't give you an echo.
Okay, well, welcome. Yeah, so, everybody, this is Shelby Larson. She founded a company along with Ben Roy called Your Local Edge. They historically have done SEO, so outsourced SEO, if you will, and they may be applicable for some of you depending on your needs. But today we want to focus in on social media. We want to focus in on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook, specifically for automotive. And Shelby's very kind, and she's put together a presentation to kind of train and educate you around how to use this to your advantage. So, Shelby, thank you again.
Thank you. So we decided, kind of quickly to put this together, so I apologize. My slides are kind of boring, but I'm not boring, so hopefully that will counteract that. But I'm excited to be here. I love that it's in the automobile industry. I just think that's a really fun, fast-paced industry. And I've been doing SEO in one form or another since 2007. I have an SEO firm called Content Divas, and we have about 200 to 300 people that work for us at any given time, and 75% of our staff are stay-home moms. So we have a big pool of people to do a lot of really great things. And then 3 years ago, we decided to start an SEO firm just for local consultants and local businesses, right? Because local search is a little bit different. So that's where my strength is. I know a lot about search and getting ranked on Google and algorithm changes and things like that. And so what I thought we would start off by doing is just quickly talking about how SEO is different now, because everybody refers to it as the new SEO. I have this really great, you'll love this picture of me. Get on this slide here. That's my picture of the web right now after Penguin and Panda, and you may be sitting there, you have no idea what Penguin and Panda are, but Google makes these changes to their algorithms and the things that they use to decide how to rank your website, what things they're looking for and what things they're not looking for. And if you're an SEO professional, you have to really keep up with that. And they name those changes for some odd reason lately after animals. And so in the last year, Panda and Penguin has really changed how we do things online. And that's directly going to lead into why social media is so important. So I'm super excited to share that with you. Now, if you have any questions along the way, even if it's not about parts that I'm talking about, go ahead and stick them in the question box, because I really like to hear what you have to say and what your questions are and what your experience is, and I'm happy to answer any of those as we go along. All right, so basically, there's a lot of different changes. I do full webinars on Panda and Penguin, and that's not the focus of this webinar, so I'm not going to go into all of the details. But we've always said for years and years that the key to a really good SEO strategy is killer content and an intelligent backlinking campaign, right? So that's very common knowledge. A lot of people say that. So what's different in the new SEO, I can't get my slide to move. Let's see. There we go. The new SEO, same thing. It's still really important to have unique killer content. It's really good to have, content that's interesting to your users or informative, or a lot of it has with the intention to sell them, right? There's a lot of different versions of content, but it's important to start off with good quality and to have an intelligent backlinking strategy. So, a lot of backlinking, there's a lot of ways to get backlinks in SEO, and I'm sure you are learning a lot about SEO for your car dealerships from Brian and Sid. But the newest thing that we saw it creeping up, and we knew it was important, but now it's actually a vital part of any strategy, is an intelligent social signal strategy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And as much as it's really a main player in the SEO field, I'm not even going to talk about it, many of the SEO benefits, because there's such a different piece of social that nothing else in the world that you do in your online SEO campaign could ever accomplish. That's so important for car dealerships. It's crazy important, and I'm really excited to share that with you. So, on-site optimization. Sorry, that's the fourth thing. You need to make sure your actual site that you're sending your leads to and your customers to is pretty good. All right, someone's got some music going on. Ooh.
Yeah, that was funny. Thank you so much for the cool music.
Yeah, that happened in Vegas when we spoke together. Remember when I was on stage and the music?
I do remember that, but I think that was on purpose.
Probably was. So, all right. So before I move on to what social, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what social signals are. Like, what is this lady talking about? What the heck is a social signal? So, a social signal are backlinks that come into your site from social platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, press releases count as social links, also as citations, which is very interesting. And, oops, I switched again. LinkedIn is a good example of that. So I could go on, but basically when people are having a conversation about you on social platforms that are made to talk about you, and there's something really powerful that no amount of backlinking or SEO or marketing that you could do can accomplish in the way that social media is, and that is how they start conversations, how they get your users engaged with you. The ability to turn your users, your followers, into rabid fans, that is now they're such followers and fans of you and your businesses that when they think car, or I need to buy a new car, or they hear someone else say I need to buy a new car, the first thing that automatically pops in their head is your dealership, because they have that good of a connection with you. It's really interesting. I compared this to someone, a conservationist once said, if you want humans to put money into helping a cause, you have to make them care about the cause first. You have to make them see it and interact with it, because humans tend to take care of and things that they care about. And I think that social media is a lot like that. When you're one car dealership in a dozen in a city of options, if you're the one they have a personal connection with, and you're the one they've interacted with on your fan pages, and that they've liked your photos, and they've answered your trivia questions of the day and different things that you have going on your site and engaged with your videos and pictures, you're going to be in their mind the authority, the place that they're going to go, and they're far, far more likely to recommend you to other people as well when they have that feeling. And so social creates that. And I really like that. So social bookmarks, I had one more thing. Okay, so I think I just went through these. But you build relationships with social media, and you foster that into rabid fans. Look, all the thing I just talked about, I had a slide on. I just get so excited about it because it's so true. But I love that the difference is that you can successfully and comfortably sell to your followers once you've established a really good rapport with them. You know, everything they're not just every time they see you, they're seeing some, you know, call to action, and then they just start tuning them out after a while, right? They've actually built up a personal relationship with your company, and so you can comfortably and successfully sell to them. And I think that's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the top three, the big three, and the ones that I'm working with. I work with a lot of different social media properties, but my favorite three that I'm finding a lot of success with businesses, professional businesses, first of all, of course, is Facebook. So I went out and I got some really interesting stats. Like some of these were even surprising to me, and there were a lot more of them than I could put on a slide. But 1 out of every 7 minutes spent online is spent on Facebook. Can you guys believe that? Are you guys, is there anybody in here who's a big Facebooker? Are you guys a big Facebooker? Or Facebook stalker, where you just kind of like to go around and read what everybody says, but you don't post much yourself? Yeah, everybody loves Facebook. So 1 out of every 7 minutes. And ironically, this accounts for 3 out of every 4 minutes spent across all the social networks is on Facebook. So it's very interesting how many people are on there every day. And a lot of people think, okay, well, maybe that's just, you know, for teenagers and people who are, you know, showing pictures of what they ate for breakfast and all those kind of things. But in actuality, the number of businesses that would describe Facebook as critical to their business has increased 75% since 2009. That's a pretty staggering number, and we definitely see this with our clients. We see our clients making the shift of using Facebook to turn their followers into loyal, rabid fans, right? And what's so great about this is it's not isolated to Facebook. Once you have people following you and engaged on your Facebook page and that they've established that relationship with you, that carries over. They follow you in other places. They talk about you. They start talking about you on their own and spreading you to their friends, and they're much more likely to buy from you or refer you once they've, and I've actually have a stat on that. So 56% of customers say that they're more likely to recommend a brand after becoming a fan of their page. That's from MindJump. And I love it. I put these stats up here so that you can see that this isn't just me going, this is why Facebook's so awesome. Like if you're a business, you should legitimately view your social properties as absolute monetization centers. Relationship opportunities and part of your monetization strategy, because you have a powerful, powerful tool right at your fingertips that can warm up your audience and your users and remind them of you in a way that nothing else that I know of can so easily do. And retail just happens to be the top industry that does acquire customers through Facebook. So of all the different industries that acquire customers through Facebook, retail is the number one. So I thought those were some really interesting stats to put up there and show you to give you an idea, because I find a lot of businesses will think that, you know, Facebook's just for kids and not for business, but it's actually a fabulous resource for you. All right, so next slide, Twitter. Twitter's probably, I would say, when social media started coming on the scene a couple of years ago as more of a prominent thing, Twitter was the first one to sort of really jump out there and say, hey, I'm a social media property, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like everybody, that was like the one that kind of became big before all the others, in my opinion. That was sort of the first pioneer that kind of jumped. And today, they have over 500 million users. That's a lot of people. And what's interesting about Twitter is that for every 100 million users online, on each of the social networks, 197.3 Twitter users were likely to share an online story compared to 41.8 of Facebook. So this is what's really important about diversifying, not just sticking with only one social platform, is different people, each of them have different edges, different advantages that to engage your users and to spread your messages and your brand. And so one thing that's really nice about Twitter is that they're highly likely to share stories and articles and pictures and things that they find of interest out to their list. You know, everybody had pretty much, you know, there was stats on this too, but all these social platforms or you can have on your smartphones now too and your tablets, and so much of the engagement happens that way. So people can literally take these social platforms with them throughout their life all day. I mean, you see the tweets come through on Twitter, you see the Facebook posts. People are talking about the things that they're interacting with throughout their whole day. It's not in the past where anything online you only interacted with while you happened to be at your desk or sitting at a computer. Nowadays, everybody has a handheld device that has basically a mini computer that they can talk into that has all these social platforms with them, and they're actually tweeting from their phones and sharing things from their phone on Facebook and posting things. And so it's really great way for you. What other medium do you know of that you can send your message to your users 24/7 a day pretty much? You know, you have an option of them opening that and engaging with that 24/7 because it's on, you know, on their body. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of people here that are devoted cell phone carriers. I run my own businesses, so my cell phone, it's never off of me unless I'm in water.
I like calling it late at night. I mean, literally, I can call her at midnight and say, look, I need help on this account, and most of the time she picks up. It's very scary.
It is a little scary. It sleeps on my bedside table next to my bed at night. Like, I keep my phone on me all the time. And I think that while it's probably a little excessive for me because I own my own businesses, I think the average person doesn't like to be away from their cell phone. I remember a mobile marketing course that had some pretty staggering stats, and most people, if they said if you had to, you know, choose to leave the house for a week without your, you know, and they listed a lot, you know, like 4 or 5, you know, really vital devices, almost everybody chose their phone. They wouldn't want to be without their phone.
I've jumped in the car and forgot my phone, and it's sad to say it's a very lonely feeling.
You almost feel like, I hate to say this, but you feel naked when you don't have your phone. You're like you're missing an item of clothing. It's so critical to, you know, day to day. I mean, how am I going to, I don't remember everybody's numbers like I did, you know, as a younger guy. I used to, like Sid, I wouldn't be able to call you without having your number in like my favorite section. I hit the button. You know, it's amazing how many of us rely on the memory of your phone to dial people's numbers, even your parents or your family.
Go to jail one night, your memory will get real good.
Yeah. It's not happening, but I hear you.
I don't know. I saw you in Vegas. I wouldn't say it's not happening.
Come on. You know, I did take Mario down. I shot him good with that gun.
Yeah, so, I mean, but you see my point. These social platforms, they're not just on the computer anymore. They're attached to everybody's hip and on their mind, and I mean nothing can I mean and this is how people live, this is how they express themselves also. It's very interesting because again, Twitter is one of those places where a lot of people think, yeah, it's just teenagers or whatever, but what's interesting about Twitter is while 77 of the world's largest companies do maintain a corporate Twitter account, media outlets are the most active users. So if you're trying to get your information out through the media, tweeting it through Twitter is a really intelligent choice because media outlets are the most active users. So if I'm like thinking about how I want to get word out about my company or things that are interesting to my users, then you know that's a really good choice of spreading that word. Okay, so Google+. So I spoke at a conference earlier in this year, and I did a whole huge presentation on Google+. What's fabulous about Google Plus is when people are following you on Google Plus, your things that you post and things that you, there's a +1, you know, it's kind of like Facebook liking on Google, things that you Google Plus actually literally changes the results for what people following you search for. So if I'm not following you and I search for anything car related, car dealership related, just anything that might be of interest to me, as a car lover or a potential buyer, I might not even be buying yet. I might be researching just other aspects of that that's really interesting to me. Anything that you posted or you +1 because you liked is going to come up in their search engines because they're following you. If they're following you, they've told Google, hey, this is somebody, I care about what they think. So when I search for things that they've had an opinion on, I want that to be prioritized in my results because I care about what they think. So putting content out through Google Plus is really powerful because it literally manipulates the search results for people who are following you. So if I'm not following you and Brian is, and we do the same search for the same keyword, something car related, whatever you've been posting, he's going to get different results than I am. So that's really powerful. I did this whole presentation where I showed the Google results before and after, and it's staggering. Google Plus is something, it's newer on the playing field. It's really good because Google basically forces you to have an account if you have a Gmail account. So there's over 500 million users signed up. Now remember, Twitter had over 5 million, and Twitter's been around for years and years and years and years. Google Plus is new. It's growing like it's crazy. And the +1 button is used over 5 billion times a day. So what's great about this is that when there's a ring of followers, if you post something or +1 something, or if any of their friends +1 something, it will still come up. So if you write something really interesting and someone in your circle says, hey, I like that, and they give it a plus, then that's going to manipulate the search engines for all their friends following them. So you see the ripple effect. Getting your users engaged with you on Google Plus is a huge, huge benefit. And as a side note, a lot of people consider Google Plus almost like a Facebook for businesses. It's definitely got, unlike Twitter and Facebook where the stereotype is that it's not for businesses and it's just for social, the stereotype is opposite for Google Plus. People tend to think of it more as for businesses. So that's nice too. And then, like I talked about, the powerful search manipulation for your followers and their followers. Now, to keep in mind, just like you're manipulating search results for people following you, people that you follow, now your search engine results are manipulated by the things that they like and they write. So you might want to think about who you follow. Get everybody you can to follow you, but be smart about who you follow, because that's going to change what your results look like too, based on who you're telling Google you think is important. So before I go on, Brian, what do you think about these properties? You use these properties regularly. That's how we started working together. Oh, look, he tuned me out. He did. He went away. Sid, he ran away right when I asked him a question. We'll ask him when he gets back.
That happens time to time. He gets multitasked for sure.
Yeah,
so I met you in Vegas also, Shelby, if you remember. I don't know.
I do remember.
You do. Okay. Yeah, I loved what you had to say. There was a lot of great people speaking there, and I like to see the higher talent speaking, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really good event.
So real quick to people that are listening, make sure you're taking notes. Some of these stats, if you know, going through the course, you know how I train to sell, and you know, when you got a rebuttal to one of these dealers that's a know-it-all, you're getting some stats right now that they're not going to be able to come back on. I mean, you're going to be able to prove the power of social immediately, and you're going to be able to give them some stats to where, say, are you interested or are you not interested in getting in front of this many people? Because this is what social does. And a lot of these stats are very powerful that she shared with us up until this point.
Yeah, guys, sorry I missed that, Shelby and Sid. I apologize.
Yeah, I just want to ask you a question. Way to go.
Yeah, I know. I got the honest truth, since I feel comfortable with everybody, is FedEx came to the office door and I had to go sign for a Christmas package. But I could make up some good story, but that's the real truth.
I've been getting crazy deliveries too, because we're going out of town, so we're doing Christmas a little early here, and so it's been fun getting packages. All right, so so let's talk about we'll talk about one more thing, and then we'll look at some live examples. And the answer people are asking if they have a copy of this. I believe you're hosting this up in your back, right, Brian?
Yes, Leanne is recording it, so it'll be there. If anybody, we're going to email this out to the whole group so everybody sees it, but it'll be in the membership area, and we'll probably do another call on less about social media, more about search that'll also be there. You guys, we're going to go through a bunch of these, taking action, you know, kind of getting results. One, we show you like when you do it yourself, like things that I do. And then I've asked Shelby, just because I love having somebody in the U.S. nice in the upper, say what you want, but people in Minnesota are just nice. She doesn't agree with me, but I tell you, people in Minnesota are super nice, and I'm hitting her up to do some calls from an outsourcing perspective so you can kind of ask her questions and grill her. Whether you work with her or not, the point is how to interact with your clients with an outsourcing company so you get maximum results. So that's the whole concept, really.
Yeah, so let's talk about outsourcing for a minute, because one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, if this is really true and we see the power of building these relationships, is it really smart to outsource that? And I have some, interesting points of why it is smart to outsource. First of all, if you're a business owner and you own a car dealership, you are not going to do it. Most likely, you're not going to get it done. I mean, I'm not in the car industry, but I do own businesses, and I can't get it done for myself, right? Like, because I'm so busy running my business, which no one else can do for me. And outsourcing is all about identifying where your strengths are, what you're realistically going to do, and then outsourcing the things that don't make sense for you to do, right? So, and I've been running outsourcing companies since 2007, so I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what it takes to outsource and identify things that you should outsource. And I feel like social media is a good one, and here's why. Professionals do a better job than staff. And the reason that is because they don't get distracted by clicking around Facebook. Someone that's paid to go in and do your social, they're going in, they're logging in, they're doing your social. They've done the research, they put the post together, and they're posting it, and they're out and moving on to their next job, right? Whereas if the staff member, they can get distracted and clicking around Facebook. And I'm not putting down your staff members. I get distracted when I'm on Facebook because there's so many great things. People are great at engaging me. The reason they get distracted in Facebook is because they're being engaged. This is the power of Facebook working. This is an example of it. And also, people that you're outsourcing it to that are professionals at this, they know the right balance of interesting posts versus calls to action. Something that people sometimes make the mistake of is they think, oh, every post I put down needs to be selling something because I need to make money. But you need to remember that the point of doing social is to establish those relationships so that you have long-term buyers and referrers. So by building that relationship, you can't always be selling to them. But by building that relationship, you're fostering a type of interactions that will allow you to sell to them easily and successfully, right? So professionals know where that balance is of interesting posts versus calls to action. And they're consistent. One thing that we probably all fell in the trap of is you do it for a while and then you get really busy and then you come back and do it for a while and then you get really busy. And in the SEO world, that's really negative, because if you build a bunch of backlinks then you don't build backlinks for a while and then you build a bunch again, it looks really inconsistent to Google and they think that your site's not being taken care of or it's not a real site. And social, people feel that way too. If you're all of a sudden there and then you're not for a couple months and you're all of a sudden there really heavy and then you're not for a couple of months, I think that you're not a consistent enough a part of their day to be just sort of a household name. And they watch closely for reputation management issues, right? If something pops up that you might miss or might see that needs to be tweaked or removed, or have some posts done that sort of counter an opinion or some sort of perception that's out there, they're watching for that, which is really, really important. And then also, they engage your potential clients, right? Their only focus in posting for you is to engage your potential clients. It's all about getting them interacting with your site, getting them working with your, getting them feeling good about you, your brand. You want it, so when someone says, oh man, my car broke down again, I need to buy a car, they're saying, oh my goodness, you have to go to this dealership. The other day they posted this really funny thing, blah, blah, blah. Or they just had this really good deal the other day. Why else would your deal be on their mind unless they were so interested in things you posted regularly that they didn't mind reading them as they came across, and they didn't feel like they're being sold to because they like what's coming out of your streams all the time, right? So I figured we could take a look at some real-life examples, some of these.
Hey, Shelby, I posted one you could look at in the chat, an automotive example, too.
Oh, in the chat.
In the organizer chat. Do you see it over there?
I do. Let's see.
Now, guys, the one I'm going to show you and I'll be honest, is just, rather than keep showing you my clients. This is a sales call I went on, and I didn't get the business, but I spent 3 hours on the call with the GM, and it was a great experience, and everything she's doing is, I mean, it's very impressive what she's got going on, and I think it's something you guys could easily look at and see why. But we'll show you that in just a second. This is in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I can talk about it from it's a female general manager, and now, of course, her name escapes me. It's only been a couple months, but let's see. You want to scroll to the top. I mean, their website is decent, but they've got all real fans and customers, 1,756 it looks like. They're outside of Austin in this area called The Domain. It was like this upscale shopping area. And it's a Fiat dealership, which is kind of the trendy, cool car right now going on. And if you scroll down, let's see if we can find some cool things they're doing. So looks like yesterday, yeah, like look at that post with the two ladies with their cars a minute ago. Scroll there a little bit. 40 people like that on their page. Just, you know, always sunny at Fiat, and these are, I guess, real customers who either just bought or something. But they're doing this continually. Look at this. Here's a new car, beautiful Wednesday in Austin. They got to get over the weather, but they have links and they're posting. They've got videos. They're doing their best to engage. Do you own a VW? Dreaming of owning a Fiat 500? If so, Fiat broke with 1,000, you know, consumer cash. Not perfect, but they're getting it done. I mean, look at this. In case you missed the ad in the newspaper, this car made headlines. Here's the car at a pizzeria. There's a lady that I met with right there, the blondish brunette in the front in the skirt. Yep, her. She's a GM, and super nice. I mean, a savvy dealership. I was really impressed. It's easily the smartest dealership I'd ever met with, the most connected, savvy. Not really search, but they're the only Fiat dealership in town, and they're using social media to distinguish themselves. Lots and lots of posts and comments, and they have a lot more than a Facebook page. I just wanted to give you this one to see. This is a dealership that's actually a rarity in that they're doing it themselves and doing a pretty good job. And funny enough, the general manager is actually doing all this, not a staff member. So it's an anomaly for sure, but I thought it'd be worth sharing.
Hey, Brian, I see a lot of people ask if they're going to get the PowerPoint. Are we able to?
Yeah, we'll put it in the members area.
All right. Cool. All right.
And, you know, it's interesting because I'll tell you a little bit about how I do it and how I do it a little bit differently. I don't have a lot of examples to show you because I have to get permission from my clients before I put their stuff on a webinar that's going to be in a back office for a bunch of people to see, right? And Brian, you know, asked me to do this just a day or so ago. So I can't show you a bunch of examples now, although I can arrange that in the near future. But what's so interesting and smart, what we do when we do our posts, is we do a combination of links out to articles that are really interesting and insightful for your subscriber space. So articles that are anything that you can think of that would be interesting to your particular users are people, real people in real life, people with children. Like, you're fortunate that your niche is really broad because you're not like only medical people, like you are only, you know, mechanics follow you, or only like you have families, you have people who are really into cars, you have people who are looking for functional cars, people who are and have concern about safety standards in cars, right? You have this wide, broad range. And so when I do it, we go in every day, and we post in Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And we do things like, we mix it up. We link to different articles that are out there that would be super fascinating. And, you know, your followers love it when you're saying, hey, check out this great, we had a client that's AC, he's an AC guy. We said, check out this really interesting article the government put out on indoor air quality and why it's, you know, really important for your safety. Well, that's relevant to him because he sells things that, you know, purify air, et cetera, right? But he wasn't saying, check me out, come buy my stuff. He was saying, hey, I care about you. Here's the important, you know, information about indoor air quality. Make sure, you know, here's some tips for, you know, making sure the air is good in your home and for your children. You know, so they're putting out information pieces that are of interest to the people, the kind of people that would like his page, right? Another one, I think I'm one of Brian's clients, you know, on Thanksgiving, they put a picture of a baby in a turkey suit and said, Happy Thanksgiving. Had nothing to do with, had nothing to do with the business at all. It was just, he was engaging his users in
Yeah, that was a car dealership that we had that had the baby, and it went crazy. 100+ likes and a bunch of shares. Those are the kind of things that you never really think about, but that's what gets you the social buzz, right? The social signals.
Absolutely. People pass that around. You have to see this picture. This is hilarious. I'm going to reshare it. And then you have your followers seeing your picture. I mean, it's a very, very viral effect. So there's definitely a delicate balance between calls to action and just engaging information. You want to get them on your page as much as possible, engaging with you. So we do articles, we do photos, we link to videos. One thing I really like is question up trivia of the day. So ask some card-related trivia or some really interesting related trivia, and then the next day you give the answer of the day, right? So you mix those kind of things in. If you have an active enough subscribership, we'll do polls. We'll poll about different things, but if you don't have a lot of people, if you're not at a point where they're interacting really heavily, you don't want to do a poll yet because it's a little sad when only 2 people answer. It's a little bit sad. But there's funny things like, it's funny, one of the things I was going to tell you, Brian, on one of your car dealership sites, there's a picture of a guy driving like literally half a Camry, like literally the whole front window forward is gone, and it's just the back end.
I don't remember that one, but yeah, that's cool. People liked it.
Yeah, it was awesome, but what the difference is, they're like, look, everybody's trying to drive, come in and get one, blah, blah, blah. My post would have been, even half a Camry's better than a Ford. That's all I would have said.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Like that, because that's going to make people laugh and like want to engage with your bot, right? So there's this great balance of like mixing it up and keeping your users engaged, and it does 3 things. Number 1, it fosters those relationships that we're talking about. Developing in the first place. In business terms, people call them leads. They call it a cold list. They call it a warm versus a warm list. When you have all of your leads, your potential buyers, warm to you and engaging with you, you're the person that's the authority to them. You're who they want to buy the car from. You're the one that has become a household name and interaction point for them, and they want to share that with their friends whenever they hear someone's going to buy a car. People are very brand loyal and retail loyal when they found some place that they really like to buy things from. So this is what we do. We work with your social properties in a way that that engages your users for you.
We used to keep a chassis of a Camry out back by the service department, and people always asked, what is that? And we would tell them, that's the one that we advertised in the newspaper.
I'm sure you did, dude.
It was really just a wheel and chassis.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of opportunities. And when you first start working with an outsourcing company, it's good for them to kind of get to know you and how you feel about, this is something you don't do once. You do this, ongoing. And so once your outsourcers kind of know you and your sense of humor and what you feel is interesting and appropriate and have a way for you to feed them that information, they can really tailor it to your personality too. Then it makes it more than just it's a differentiating factor from you versus other dealerships out there. So that's most of the material that I brought, Brian.
Yeah, let's do some questions and guys, let's take some questions and we can get Shelby to answer, or Sid and I can help out. But I see a few of them here. Yeah, Bill Fox says Sarah is impatient, so we all know how that goes. Come on. But, let's see.
Bill just came off of a big vacation, so he's plenty rested up and ready for these things.
Yeah, Shelby, any comment on the Google Plus communities? Yeah, Tom, I mean, this is an outsourcing service. If you guys are interested, I'm using Shelby on a multitude of clients right now for social media specifically. We can share that. Guys, there's a few of you asking, hang on, Shelby, I know you somewhere. Hang on. Let me grab the screen and.
Oh, you want the screen?
Yeah, well, hang on one second. Let me find the link. Yeah, guys, we'll show you basically the deliverable. Shelby, I'm going to let me go back into my Skype history. I'm going to stall you guys for a second, Tom, and then I'll pull up basically the package that I use and then show you guys.
Oh, are you just wanting me to go to my site, to your thing?
Yeah, will you go to the page, the link that, with the 2 choices? I can't.
Yeah.
I got it now, but yeah, if you have it.
Yeah, this is my site.
Yeah, guys, so these are basically the packages in terms of social media. And I worked with Shelby to tweak that gold one into something that could make it a lot more hands-off for me, so I didn't have to do a lot of the hands-on. But if you look at the $250 option, I mean, I almost feel criminal paying you this, but not that much. But so creating the channels, I mean, obviously, but that's mindless. Really, the value of that is the posting on your Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus, basically every day, 5 days a week, not on the weekends, but 5 days a week. And if you want the weekends, you could just skip some other days, I suppose. And then the cool thing is, it's intelligent posting. Like Shelby said, they're in Minnesota. Note she didn't say Manila. So Minnesota, and she's got moms, you know, across the country. I like that. I guess on a personal level, I like the, you know, the level of grammar and intelligence that just happens with, you know, the quality of the people. But it's all about posting articles and news and snippets and videos and pictures, some trivia questions, some polls when there's enough people, and then like a lot of things, you know, the weather or sporting events, and then cross-promoting them. So the whole idea is to get your social buzz humming, just like that Fiat dealership has. And, you know, it's $250. I mean, so when I charge, let's say $4,000 on a dealership, and I may spend, I don't know, $200-300 a month on SEO, various things, maybe let's say $250 here. So I may be all in $500 or $600 a month. And you guys we've talked about rep management, so maybe I'm out $20 per month on that. So $20 plus this $250, that's $270, plus another couple hundred SEO. So you can be virtually hands-free. And I'll be honest, I still monitor and communicate with Shelby's team because I like to be involved. Some of you may not like to be involved, and that's kind of what the gold package is. But for $250, I don't think you could beat it with the stick, to be quite honest. Otherwise, you'd be doing this every single day. And it's the equivalent of copying the phone book sometimes, trying to dream up something new and funny to post or to write about every day.
Or interesting, or regulations, or just different things. And I'll tell you, I'll be very honest, this is interesting. So you can see from the link, this is right now, it's through Your Local Edge, which is a whole different story about what that company is. But it's really interesting. I've actually been approached, and because this exact service that I'm doing for my clients, I've just been doing just because they needed it and it made sense, is needed so much by big agencies that I'm creating a company separate just to do this, because there's 700 agencies that want to use this service from me. And that's a really new development for me, but that, like, just to tell you, like, that's the trend. Like, that's how much people want this and need this and legitimately see the value for their businesses, is that I have a broker that has 700 agencies that will start selling this package today. But I don't want to sell it in my whole, combined with everything else with Your Local Edge. I just want just that one service pulled out. So I'm making a completely separate company for this after the new year. And that's a really big testament of how powerful this is being viewed in business right now.
Yeah, also some people are asking, have you ever tried to outsource this overseas? I mean,
it's
a nightmare, you guys. I think that was Tyler, wasn't it? I mean, Tyler, have you ever like corresponded with your VA who's building a website or something for you, and you look at the grammar, and let's say it's a little bit better. You get somebody. I have a guy who's really good in the Philippines. He's got a master's in English, and I will show you some of the stuff he writes. It's extremely good. I pay him basically $1,000 US a month, and I still have to fix little small like uses of phrases and grammar that, you know, if you don't live here, you don't live here. And it is what it is. Just like if I tried to write, I can read French very, very well, and I can speak it okay, but no way could I be posting on, you know, French social media sites just because I had, you know, 8 years of French. Doesn't matter. It's not the same thing. So I think it's an epic fail waiting to happen is what will typically happen.
The reason that I don't do that for this particular project, I do have overseas teams, and I have a very large U.S.-based team. The reason I don't outsource this overseas, even though it would be cheaper and make my margins larger, is because this is establishing you and your brand and your company in a way, like we talked about, that nothing else can do. So to put that in the hands of someone that doesn't even natively speak your language is dangerous and risky, because unlike other things where people could say, oh, well, her staff messed up, I understand she uses, whatever. This is like you. When you come up in someone's Facebook stream, they don't think your staff, they think you, and it's representing you, and it's affecting what they think about your company and how likely they are to buy from you or refer to you. I just feel like that needs to be someone that it natively speaks your language. I feel like that's an important part, and like understands your culture and the trends and pop culture because they live in it every day. I feel like that's an important part when it comes to something.
Well, Shell, that's what it is. And you guys, if you want to, the truth, if you're doing a super small, like you're doing flower shops, right, or you're doing like low-value clients, you're going to tend to go budget. If you're doing dealerships where you're getting thousands of dollars, the quickest way to lose that dealership, or at your first checkpoint meeting, ask them, they're going to want to know what school you went to because your grammar is atrocious, is to use India and a little bit better the Philippines. But the second package, this is something that I had her custom make for me because I wanted more than the $250. I wanted more engagement where I didn't have to do all the work.
It was never good enough for Brian. He wanted more.
Yeah, I always want more, right? So you guys know this. I've showed you on the Toyota dealership site when we did the presentation. I do a lot of promoted posts where I get a lot of views and get the viral aspects by paying Facebook a few bucks. So I step it up. Like I always talk about I write one of the posts a week, so I put a personal touch on it. I basically explained exactly what I was doing to Shelby, and I said, look, I need a rock star post once a week in addition to the mundane stuff. I need contests to get people to like this picture and drive likes to the page, paid promotions. I needed her to do basically everything I was doing, which was much, much higher than simple like do a Google search, find this, post this. And so I had her build me this, which I can tell you that I'm pretty happy with right now, because this is the way. If you're getting $500 a month for social media, you should stop it and go do something else because you priced it wrong. But if you're getting $2,000 for managing their account and handling engagement and reporting and etc., this is where you want to be. If you want to be hands off, whether you work with Shelby or somebody else, this is what you need. You need to engage your audience. You need to get your fans hitting like and sharing. You need to grow the fan base, because that's what they hammer me on every month at the checkpoint. How many new fans do I have? And they always want big numbers, so I tell them, look, I can get you 10,000 tomorrow. But I said, I'm trying to get you only real people in Dade County, in Broward County, in Fulton County here in Atlanta, whatever it may be. And I'll shut up, Shelby. You want to talk about that package? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And what's different about this package, so in this one, we do all the normal stuff. We do the one post 5 days a week in your Facebook, your Twitter, and your Google+. We link them together really intelligently. Like I said, we know the balance between calls to actions and interesting things. We know how to mix it up. And we talk with you in the beginning to decide kind of maybe what your preferences are, so we really tailor it to you. The Social Engage Gold is, the difference there is that on top of all the regular stuff we're doing, we have additional enhancements like Brian talked about. There are so many things that you can buy to run different contests and different really cool things that you have to have the tools in order to do, and we've purchased those, so we have those, so we can do a lot more advanced types of things if you have the right subscriber base for it. But the other thing we actually have paid copywriters on staff that 4 times a month, so once a week, will write a more significant post, that's meant to really
meant to make me look good, you guys. That's the purpose, so you look like a star.
And to do a good call to action. My preference is that 2 of those have a strong call to action and 2 are just really interesting and engaging. And then on top of that, we are promoting posts throughout the month as well. And at first I had a set number, but then I realized after working with my clients, how many posts you promote really kind of has to do with how many active subscribers you have right now, how big is the funnel. So I feel like that varies depending on what's best for you. But we might do it up, we'll probably on average we're doing it to once a week. We're promoting a post for you. So this one just really takes it up a next notch. We have a copywriter to really make those powerful posts once a week that go on top of everything else that we're doing and make you look good and are meant to just really reach out and get your users engaged with you. So what's really nice about starting with us, it's a monthly service because the social is never something you just want to jump into and then jump back out. You just don't have the long-term benefits of it for having a warm audience that you can sell to so easily. And so it's a monthly service. You can cancel anytime, right? You have full control over that. And we have a really awesome guarantee at the bottom because we believe in what we do. So if you want to outsource it and you want to give us a try, great. It's yourlocaledge.com/start/social. I'll put the link up on the slide before we end here.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, you guys, if you're interested. It's cool, and please don't think, I love Shelby to death. I'm a big fan. Don't think you have to use Shelby. You'd be smart too, you guys. But I promise you, these are the features you want.
And I was just about to say that. If you don't use me, that's awesome. In this presentation, I've laid out exactly what you should do. So whether you're handing that to your staff member or a different outsourcer or you're doing it yourself, I want you to have the path to succeed, whatever that may be. I'm very abundance-minded. If I can be a great resource for you, awesome. If not, at least you have the strategy to get it done on your own or through whatever path does make sense for you.
So looking at social and automotive and looking at the way that the dealers are working their budgets, you can compare social a lot with TV. And these guys understand that TV is not something you try, it's something you do. Same with social. It's not something you try. You don't stick your foot in and see if it's hot or cold. It's something either you engage or you don't. And when these guys engage into a social program, they're going to be prepared to spend money for a long time. And they're going to know that it's going to take 6 months or 12 months to produce return on social, just like it does on TV. It's not a mailer that they're going to mail out and get responses immediately. It's not a radio commercial, and the second the radio spot ends, it's over. This is very, very much similar to a TV ad campaign that a dealer would run, and they'll know that when you're discussing it with them.
And I think of it this way: how much is it worth to people to have 10 more leads following them each week, or 10 more calls to their dealership, or one more person a week walking into the dealership, or one more call or car sold a week? Even at those bare minimum numbers, how much would be worth it to have that? And that's the beautiful thing about social.
And everybody on this call knows that, what 10 calls are worth. We do return on investment stuff really hard. Yeah. That's worth 17 grand to a typical dealer, which is worth probably more, but it's worth 17 grand. 10 customers is 17 grand to a dealer. So
absolutely, it grows exponentially. Social is something that grows exponentially. They start trickling in, and they start liking and sharing, then their friends start liking and sharing, and so it's something that grows exponentially over time, which is the beautiful part of social, is that viral build. And again, I just can't think of anything else in the SEO or online world that can create that with such power.
An interesting stat that I read in automotive is if somebody's a fan of your page, you got a 56% chance when they go to buy a car, they'll purchase from you.
Really? Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I know where we saw that. Yep, that is.
That's strong as death. Why would you not? There's going to be people that are getting involved in social and questioning it right now, and there's going to be people that are getting involved in social and doing it right now. And those that are questioning it 2 years from now are going to be so far behind the ball that they're not going to be able to catch up to the people that took it serious and jumped in. I see Steve asking the stat again. If you have somebody fanning your page, you have a 56% chance that when they purchase, they will purchase from you. And it's brand loyalty. It's branding. That's what social is. That's the new branding. Where we used to do TV spots at 4 o'clock in the morning just to brand you, and do 80,000 a month of billboards. So every time you turned around, you saw Toyota Mall, Georgia, Toyota Mall, Georgia. You saw every 7 seconds on a computer is spent on Facebook. So if tactfully, such as tactfully, if you can get your name and brand your company out there, you're going to build fans, and with fans, you're going to build car deals. And we all know what car deals are worth to these dealers. It's worth big money.
Yep, something interesting to me too, and this is a Shelby prediction, so you don't have to, I didn't get this stat from anywhere, but I definitely have my pulse on the search and SEO community. I predict in the future we're going to see this shift continue. I predict that social signals and social connection is going to be more heavily of a ranking factor inside search than SEO. I really believe it's going that way. That's my opinion. So working on, through a lot of different ways, getting social signals and into conversations is the best thing that you can do for your business. And something else that was an interesting stat that I pulled actually like a year ago, but it used to be when, like if people wanted to find an eviction attorney, let's say, they would go onto Google and type in eviction attorney Ohio. But now what they do is they go into Facebook pages or Facebook groups for landlords, and they say, who do you guys use for your eviction attorneys? And then they take those referrals and search those referrals. There's this whole social level before people even really get to regular search anymore. They're asking their social communities, who do you use? Who do you recommend? Who do you think I should go see? Before they even start their search in Google. I thought that was very interesting.
I like it. I'm looking at some of these questions, you guys. This is spot on for those of you that are at the point of quoting and delivering service and value. You know, obviously you can do this for more than dealers, but this is critical to making that whole circle, that continuum, the buying cycle of mobile, social, search, and reputation, how it works to create a sale. Social is probably the linchpin service that ties it all together. So, yeah, you can do, Mark, Dr. Mark, you can do the lower one for sure, but I will tell you this. Here's what you need to do. Once a week, you need to come behind it. How do I say it? You need to come behind it with a real post, something that you do and you promote, do a promoted post, and write it yourself and make it so applicable and awesome. And I'll send you some examples so you guys see them, but you have to go beyond the simplicity of creating daily buzz to creating something like super cool once a week. And it could be like a contest. Whoever gets the most likes on this gets an oil change. You know what I mean? You need to drive serious activity, like one day a week, so that you stand out from the daily drudgery kind of posts. And Tom, you're right. We do recommend, Shelby's my favorite. I'll be honest, that's why she's on the call. But I am very open-minded. We do recommend Social Mojo, depending on the fit. I will tell you that from a pricing perspective, we basically beat Shelby up and made her add in Google Plus and stuff to make it extremely competitive. So we shifted her pricing and deliverables to fit what we needed for automotive. The thing with Social Mojo is they were doing Twitter and Facebook at that price. So we decided that the Google Plus integration was critical. You can absolutely use Social Mojo. I'm not knocking them in any way, and I actually have some clients on my team that use them. So.
Yeah, I think they do a few things that we don't, and we do a few things that they don't. You know,
absolutely.
You know,
they're offshore, you guys. Some of their staff is offshore, but I haven't seen, it's not that it doesn't, quote-unquote, stink. You know, it's okay. So.
Yeah, they do a few things that we don't do, and then we do a few things that they don't do. I think that our posts are a little bit more diversified in what we offer, but then they offer some, like, post management stuff that we don't offer in our basic package.
Yep, and then the real thing, though, from an automotive perspective is, like Mark asked, you can absolutely do that first level, but somebody doing that will do it live on the call. So if, like, Mark has one, you do it live on the call. We'll do one together, you guys, and make something that rocks once a week a couple times, because it's one of those things you just sort of have to have a knack for. It's like half creative, half smart, half thinking about the viral nature, and, you know, and call to action. But once a week you need it, because that's what, when you promote it and you pay Facebook like an extra 10 or 15 bucks, that's what expands your views, the virality, if you will, of the post, the viral aspect. And when you give the reports on a monthly basis, when you create some reports out of, say, Sprout Social, it's those promoted posts that jacks the numbers way up so you look like a star. You can do it. You can step in and once a week kind of play overseer if you want and do that low-level package, because I do that on some, and then like Shelby knows, I really wanted the higher level one, because if I score this new deal, I don't want to have to do that for 10 dealerships all at once every week and creatively come up with that. So that was the whole purpose of designing that package. The whole thing was designed with us in mind specifically for automotive, with like functional apps like contest apps and things like that built in. So that was the idea behind it.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for our clients for a while now. So if you have any questions even, and you just kind of want to know what things have been working for us, you can always shoot me an email at support@yourlocaledge.com, and I'm happy to answer your questions and give you a little guidance.
Yeah, you guys. So Janice asked a good question. Shelby, on your website, and I know that you're breaking this out into the whole separate company for social media, but you have a Starter Pro and Elite package. That's tied to SEO, not social, right?
So yeah, I mean, we can do a thing on Your Local Edge at some point if you want, Brian, but Your Local Edge is a fulfillment company for local consultants. So when you are a part of Your Local Edge, all of our services, from SEO to social to press releases, all of those are offered inside that membership. You edit for a discounted price, and we have some tools built on there and things like that. So this piece is one of the services that we offer inside Your Local Edge. So if you're going to the regular website, those prices are for access to our service. And I think, Brian, we're going to do some sort of if people want to learn more about that in the future, we can do something for you. But that's what that is. But then this page with the social on the end just specifically only has you buying this package instead of having to be part of Your Local Edge in order to get access to it.
Yeah, and so Paula just asked how many dealership channels. So the idea on the lower package is Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus for one dealership with daily activity and kind of buzz creation, if you will, per month. So the whole concept is that will take care of your social aspect of the pie when you deliver a deal. But if you want to be hardcore, I'm telling you, you need to come behind that and do one kind of cool thing a week. So that's my only add-in. Or you could do a higher level package. And I'll have to share one. I just have to be careful which ones I share, you guys. I'm sure you get it, but
I know it's fine. I'm gonna get some pre-authorization for some clients to show, and then the next time we do something like this, I'll have that. But I'm sure, as you can understand, if you were my clients, you wouldn't want me just throwing your stuff up in front of the world to see without permission.
But I'll give you an example. Like if we put a cool picture up, let's say like the baby in the Thanksgiving suit that we did, and then we said whoever refers the most likes gets a free oil change. Cool things like that are what I suggest that you do like once a week. It's contests, it's prizes, it's little things to get people fired up and hitting the share button and commenting and posting, because you want to affect what's called we won't get into this, you guys, but what's called the edge rank of your social page, for that fan page. And you want to do that so that you then it circles back and it has this. Once again, this is probably a separate call, but it has a trickle-down effect in terms of quote-unquote SEO, and it all ties together now, and so that's really the value of this stuff.
And it humanizes you. You're not just a generic cold car dealership anymore. You're a person with a personality to them. And do you want to know the most liked post I ever made on Facebook in all the years? I got like something like 75 responses and like I don't even know how many likes on it. I simply asked, because I was having a debate with my business partner, if they thought it was weird to brush your teeth in the shower. Because he thought it was weird if you brush your teeth in the shower. I didn't. It blew my mind. All the business stuff I post, all the great stuff I post, it definitely gets visibility, but that debate had people dropping their opinion in, getting other people to come give their opinion, and liking it, and it became this really crazy viral post. I had no idea, that I was going to do that. So now I'm finding out in the chat channel who brushes their teeth in the shower. See?
I use the sink, I have to admit it, but the shower does make sense. I get it. Who uses cold water versus warm? Now that's the bigger question. So there's your post of the day.
That's right. You should post that.
Matter of fact, I'm using that on a few sites today. When you brush your teeth, do you use cold or warm water? Now that is an engagement question if I've ever heard one.
And people will respond to you. You think that they won't, but they will. And it's interesting to them because they want to see how many people do that too. Like, I think the reason my post about the shower toothbrushing was because people were truly curious how many people said they did or didn't. They want to know which side they were weird. Because Ben was saying it was weird if you do. I was saying it's weird if you don't. So they wanted to know which category they fell into.
I didn't realize anybody did use cold water.
I only use cold water, see? My wife uses warm water, and we argue about it all the time.
But that humanizes you. That makes you endearing to your members, right? Like it's something fun that they want to get involved in. And being in a car dealership, you just have such advantages because you're not narrowed into a small niche of people. Everybody drives a car.
I like it. All right, any other questions, you guys? We want to wrap this up. We want to make sure you get everything answered, and you have that. Yeah, John Waller, I hear you. Victoria, I love it. Cold. There you go. She wins. If there was a prize, Victoria just won, by the way. But there's not a prize. Let's see. And yeah, that's it, you guys. So there's nothing else. This is really cool. You can use this presentation as a roadmap or a blueprint on what to do for your client. You can absolutely do that. You can use this to hold somebody else accountable. If they're doing your social media, this is what you should expect. And in my opinion, you should strongly consider, if you're in the U.S., consider a Canadian or United States-based service. If you're in Europe, obviously a European service would be the way to go. So keep that in mind. And Sid, what else do we want to say here?
Nothing. Just make sure we're going to, Brian, if we can get that PowerPoint out, because there's a lot of stats that Shelby shared with us that you can really solidify your strength on pitching your social to these car dealers. So
yeah, we just had Marion just commented, and Shelby, I'm going to say this, but she just highly recommended your services, and I think the takeaway, at least for me, and why I like the whole accessibility, North American, nice, and then I got to be honest, I like the stay-at-home mom thing. I love what you do with Content Divas. I love that model. I think it's super cool. But anyway, enough of that, you guys. So thanks, you guys.
yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shelby.
The